Video number 4, and this is the Sustainable Urban Governance class being offered for distance learning students by way of YouTube. If you want to find out more information, you can go online and go to www.futureproofnola.com and look at the draft standard for urban governance. And then the other is the website of mine, which is www.thirdlegconsultants.com. And the two readings there you can find in the academic and philosophical papers. One's the Hope Crisis Continuum, and the other one is the Public Revenue Outlay Transparency. Just to reiterate, I know in the last class I left with this, but when we talk about urban governance, we're really talking about the intersection of all three of these concerns, which is economy, society, and the environment, to make sure that we cover everything that's important to everybody in this society. This is the common interest of everybody, no matter what political party or political persuasion. At some point, you have to be concerned about all three of these. Where we have these double intersections is the concern of where we are right now, because in the last video, number 3, we were talking about assets and public capital, and that was the intersection where you had the economy and society, and public capital is the appropriate concern. Well, in video number 4, we're going to be talking about the intersection of society and the environment, where we're talking about sustainable design as an important concept. So in video number 4, which we're about to go into, I wanted to talk about sustainable design, sustainable planning. I talked in video number 3, we talked a little bit about life cycle analysis, the lifespan of certain technology, the lifespan of infrastructure systems. The whole idea that when you build a bridge, it's built with a 50-year life, for example. I know in a lot of cases, like the Huey P. Long Bridge that connects Clearview Avenue with the West Bank. That was built in 1932, I believe, one of the first examples of using revenue bonds for the performance. But when I taught this course on urban infrastructure to the engineering students at Tulane, it was kind of a new course to them, because typically engineers work out calculations, make sure that things are designed right, but engineers typically don't get an opportunity to study fiscal administration and planning ideas. But some of this material is pretty familiar to engineers. And life cycle analysis is a component of engineering education. But you can see from the slide is that you have an initial construction cost. Let's say when the Huey P. Long Bridge was built in 1932, it was several, millions of dollars. And then as the years go along, you have to spend maybe, if it's a $100 million project, you might have to spend like $10 million to take the rust off, to repaint, and then maybe 20 more years, it's double that cost. And then at a certain point, it's like, well, we're spending too much on just regular maintenance. What we need to do is like remove half of the bridge and do some major revamping. That's the example of that first higher vertical bar on the graph. And then we go through this normal maintenance again to another point. At some point, an engineer has to make a judgment. Maybe we just need to tear down this whole bridge and put up something new. For example, if the technology came along where maglev trains are now feasible and they're going coast to coast, maybe now is the time to skip just having automobiles cross bridges. Maybe we should have a maglev track. That would be an example of a life cycle period ending because of a new technology change. There's really 4 broad groups of factors in when we study environmental impact impacts from infrastructure when we talk about urban governance. We look at pollution issues, ecological issues, social and engineering. And this is all part of sustainability planning. We want to make sure that whatever we're doing in terms of urban governance and what type of infrastructure that we're talking about, that we don't overly pollute the environment. We look for technologies that are benign to the environment. And we're always concerned about wetlands and coastal areas, endangered species, landscapes. And wherever possible, if we're having drainage, we might as well have the drainage go to areas that typically need to be watered, so we make it essentially mistake-proof or foolproof, let's say. Social issues is if there's a structure that needs to be built or something that society says, yeah, we need it, what kind of impact is that going to be on all the classes of people, so that we don't displace people just because a few people in society say, yeah, that's what we want. It kind of touches on environmental justice issues as well. And then the engineering aspects, especially in New Orleans and post-Katrina, we're talking about flood hazards and making sure that homes are high enough so that they won't be impacted by typical rainwaters or maybe flood waters that would come from a hurricane. One of the things that's important in this life cycle analysis is this idea of what I call a 4-step airplane trip cycle analogy. And if you look at the slide, it's a little bit less confusing than what I just said, but essential item number 1, or if you look at the diagram, 1 is where you're preparing to take off. You put on the fuel, put in passengers, baggage, security, gauges. 2 is the ascent, reaching altitude, confirm the plane's on course, gauges are all reading good. And 3 is that long period called cruising, where you're doing your performance measures, a radio ahead for weather, security, and then descent is number 4. If you took that in terms of strategic plan, you set the level of service to be provided by this infrastructure system, and what you do is try to match the replacement infrastructure with that 3rd step, the cruise step, so that you're always bringing something online early so that it reaches its cruise period, let's say, so that the earlier infrastructure system that was serving that purpose, you have no loss or no gap in service from the public capital that you've invested. Now, I think what I'm going to do now is close out. I think I'm close to the end of my 10-minute segment for the video number 4. And I'd like to just welcome everybody to join me again when I finish the talk on sustainability planning and design, the second key concept within the sustainable urban governance class. So join me again.